Hello, my fellow divine feminine and divine masculine. Welcome back to DF Thoughts 0330, where it is nothing but raw emotions and real talk on this channel. Hashtag trigger warning to all of my videos. If you get offended very easily, I advise you not to watch, okay, or not to view. I know that at this time in this Mercury retrograde, it is a very sensitive time for all of us. But at the same time, it is also a time for us to detox from the drugs and alcohol that we've been trying to drown out our emotions with. I am guilty of that. Not the alcohol part. I have gotten rid of that part, but I do like to smoke weed. But I have learned part of this Mercury retrograde that I was, getting it in quite a bit. I had to realize that it was blocking a lot of my visions and prophetic dreams, but also that it was changing my mood quite a bit. But why was that? What was I truly masking? Actually, I was trying to mask the emotional pain of the internal and external things that I did not want to face in my life. Now, I know that y'all probably thought the internal and external things that I don't want to face with my person. But see, now I came with the grips that I am my person and my person is me. So when I talk about me, I am still talking of and about my person. Only difference is I'm working on my spirituality very much, sir, my spiritual self. The changes that I need to make in this part of the soul. Okay? I am the left part of the soul and my person is the right part of our soul. Now, I must admit that 255, lately I haven't been feeling too much of what he may be going through. I don't know. Maybe we are feeling the same thing. But I know that I've been fighting very, very hard to be in the present. That is one of the hardest things to do, my fellow divine feminine and fellow divine masculine, is to just be in the present, regardless of the things that are collapsing around us. And why I keep saying collapsing is where I'm at. A politic was supposed to be here, and a bridge collapsed hours before he got to the destination. What the universe just channeled to me was some of us, it's going to be hours in before we get to the destination that things will collapse around us. Are you in a state, my fellow divine feminine, fellow divine masculine, where things are collapsing hours before you get to the destination? And what I meant by hours, that is a timeless time, but it's also a short time. Depending on what level you are in this journey, what processing that you are in. And it made me think of a processing center. With a processing center, whether it's your electric bill or your gas bill, for example, let's think of the old school, right? Y'all remember in the old school when you had to mail off your electric bills, gas bills, and yes, you're correct. There is still some old folk, some legends that do that, okay? But you remember they used to mail off their check or mail off their money order. I remember my mama Sally doing it, and other older folks as well. And it had to go through a process center, correct? Okay. So, really, truthfully, I was really, really young, but I'm pretty sure my mother did do it that. Yeah, she just told me, yeah, she did. But, okay. Thank you, Mama, for coming in. You did. All right. So, back to the mission at hand. But basically a lot of people did that because it wasn't any electronic or anything like that back in the 80s and the 90s. Okay, so of course my mama Sally did. Okay, so whether I witnessed it or not, I know that she did. So anyway, back to the mission at hand because that's irrelevant. So it goes through a processing center. When it goes through that processing center, it is a process. Okay? But if you know about that back in the day, you had to turn your bill in way ahead of time. Why? Because there's other bills, people's bills, and that needed paid. You had to turn that bill with your little payment receipt, the amount, and because I've done it before in the past as well. It hasn't been that long since it changed, actually. With your money order and things of that sort, you had to put it in the mail, but you had to make sure it was ahead of time. Because it could take a week to get there, right? It could take 2 weeks, depending on where, depending on where the process center is. You know what I'm saying? The gas company, electric company, whatever, could be a state over. Could be a couple cities over. You just don't know. However, you needed to turn it in ahead of time, right? So that it can be processed, because there's a process when your money order gets there, right? So you already had to go through the week. You already had to go through the 2 weeks of waiting. And you're being patient because you're like, I want to make sure my bill is paid and I want to make sure that it's on time. Think about that as karmic debt, right? Because all the things that are collapsing in our life or collapsing around us is from our karmic debt. Either I am speaking to my fellow divine feminine or my fellow divine masculine. That's what it is. So you do not want to go in debt over your bill. So you make sure that you turn it in on time. You make sure that you use that time wisely. Right? Because when you turn something in on time, that means you're using your time wisely. You are saying that this is a very important bill that I have to pay, because if I don't pay it and I don't pay it on time, they're going to turn it off. And then, therefore, when it gets turned off, that's just another obstacle that I shall have to deal with. Because why? I have to pay a late fee. That means I have to do all the process all over again. Or they could shut it off. You know, I'm getting threatened that it shall be shut off. 926 I just saw. However, then it has to go through that process of, because why? The process center back then had to go through everybody else's bills and apply it to the account. So it's wise, right, to be prepared for the, for the collapse before you arrive at the destination. For some of us, the collapses has been a process in itself. Some of us, we have been going through short collapses. Some of us have been going through, short and slow collapses. Some of us haven't went through any at all, or some of us go through them periodically. Some of them, like I stated, I will go back. They want me to go back. Haven't went through them at all yet, because these collapses will happen, boom, 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 all at one time. For some of us, it will literally be hours before we get to the destination. Days before we get to the destination. For some of us, it's been months. For some of us, it's been years. But either way, we all have dealt with some type of collapse in our life. The thing is how did we deal with it? Right now, I'm thinking of the fellow Divine Feminine. Trigger warning. 11:11 just hit. I look down 11:10 and I look up and I know 11:11 hit. No need to look down. Okay, it's the rhythm of the time that flows through me. So, my fellow Divine Feminine, are you going to collapse? And what I mean by that is we know that you are standing strong. We know that you have detached your energy. But we also know that you continue to watch readings, that you continue to watch tarot, because you really do want the connection. But have you collapsed before the destination? Have you already went out to look for new love? And my fellow Divine Feminine, I've been there, done that. And honestly, it hasn't worked. And the reason it hasn't worked, because I really do want the connection. And the reason why I really do want the connection is because I really do love my soul. I love my part of the soul. So therefore, I love the other part, which is my Divine Masculine. So have you already collapsed and already have gave up your body to another? Now that is your business, that is your prerogative. You have free will. But if, my fellow Divine Feminine, you are looking for new love, why are you still wondering about this connection with your Divine Masculine? Why are you still dating? I've tried, did not work, because I know truly where my love lies, truly where my heart lies. Although my energy is detached, and it shall continue to be. Why? Because I know my worth. And I know what I won't settle for. But I want to put that bug in your ear for you to think about that, oh, my fellow Divine Feminine. And my fellow Divine Masculine. Have you collapsed as well? Have you thought about rebounding as well? Have you thought about going back to that karmic because you still feel alone? But at the same time, you know that when you're with that karmatic partner, that you feel even more alone. That it is a waste of time. Are you collapsing hours before the destination? Yes, I know. I know that it is very hard. It's hard, collective. This I know. But we must continue to feed our minds with spiritual knowledge, spiritual wisdom. Continue to pay attention to our thoughts while synchronicities come in, because our synchronicities are attached to our thoughts. I've been starting to notice more and more that when I'm praying to the Most High, to the Divine, and speaking to the source in the universe from the positive white light, and as I speak to them, I will look down at my phone or look at my stove or whatever it may be, and it will be a synchronicity that popped up. And the synchronicity doesn't have to be a double number in it, doesn't have to be a triple number. That is just the beginning. You know, those triple numbers are just the beginning of where the universe is trying to get our attention, right? About our awakening. See, in the beginning, we so keep caught up on the twin flame journey. Why? Because we're still struggling with our own inner karmatic ways, our own ego, our own pride. So when we first start to see 1111, 222, 333, 444, those numbers in the beginning of our awakening that we don't understand until we look them up, and then we realize, oh, I am a twin flame. And we get caught up, right, in the fact that we are a twin flame instead of what it takes to be one in this journey. But we soon find out, don't we? And then again, some of us don't, because we stay stuck on the high vibrational love, wanting and longing for it. And trust me, you're going to continue to long for it. You're going to continue to want it. But you have to control that part and work on yourself spiritually. Because, my fellow divine feminines and divine masculines, the only way to get to union, okay, the only way to get through union is finding out who you are individually in that same soul. Okay? And how do we find out who we truly are? How do we find out who we truly are in the divine to become a true divine being? We must do the dark night of soul. We must do the shadow work. And I want to put another bug in your ear, okay? And by the way, I want to say I'm so grateful for the 5 and 6 viewers that has been viewing my blackout videos. I appreciate you very much. I want to be honest, I've never really did a lot of shadow work. The universe the other day, and I want to give y'all some homework if I may. You can do it, and you don't have to. And when I let you know about it, you're going to be like, what the heck? I'm not doing that. But anyway, it's up to you. Why, babies? You have free will. The universe wanted me to go in my memo on my phone, quick memo. Some of y'all may have that, some of y'all don't. Whether you have an iPhone or not, somewhere where you can write down and jot down notes. They wanted me to make a list of the karmics. Everybody that hurt me. Relationships, friendships, family ships. Write down every good thing that you feel is about them. Now, I already know, fellow divine feminine, fellow divine masculine, you're like, what? A good thing? They didn't do any good things. Are you sure about that? Because we tend to forget that they are created by the Most High. Now, I'm not saying that they did not hurt you and what they did to you was right. I've had karmics that done the most darkest things to me. very dark. That some of y'all may even say that they don't deserve forgiveness, but at the same time, I forgave them because it gave me my power back. And that is the most important, my friend. So, write it down. Write their name. Write something that you admired. Something good. Why? That puts good in the universe. That puts good within your soul, right? Because a lot of times, and I'm guilty of it, we will speak negative about the karmics all the time on our tongue, speaking death about them. They just channel to me, that just bounces the spell work off of you even more. I believe it. Because we're playing their game that they want us to play. When divine beings, we are divine beings. Does a divine play games? Does the source in the universe play games? No, they don't. And friend, naturally, I'm tired of them sitting around waiting for me, and as they're tired of me sitting around waiting for me to stop playing reindeer games. So, my fellow divine feminine and fellow divine masculine, whose energy that I very much feel, a particular one. Thank you so much for watching me and following me to this channel. For those who have, love you so very much. So write down that's all. Oh, how I miss you. Oh, how I miss you, my divine masculine. But anyway, thank you for viewing. So, my fellow divine feminists, divine masculines, as I was saying, make sure that you do the list. And I know it's going to be hard, but do it anyway. Be aware and present of what you're thinking about at that moment as you're writing down the good things. If you use captions, ask yourself why and listen to the spirits, because as I was doing this list, the spirits were asking me questions. Why do you feel this way? Why is what you're writing down, you're indecisive about what you want to, they're named. Like when it came to my adoptive dad, I wanted to put Sam, and then I wanted to put Dad, and then I wanted to put Sam. I was very indecisive, and they asked me why. And at that time, all I could answer under that was, honestly, I don't know. But guess what? It was an honest answer. So do me that solid, beautiful divine beings. Write down what you admire about a person, about karmics to be exact. What you admired at that time that they were in your life. For some, they may still be or may still be around. Now, I am not saying that after you think about the good things, that you should go back and be like, you know what? They are the one for me. No, I'm not saying that. Or I should, try to make amends with this family member or friend. No. If you let go of those karmics, continue to let them go. Keep them out of your life, because obviously they are still unhealed. Okay? The reason the spirits wanted us to do this is to show that they still have the right to heal and to still have some type of purpose in this world. Now, don't get it twisted. Regardless of what this karmic was in the past and how good they was and everything they did, A lot of our karmics have got into spell work. Okay? They have got into those things, and people that's been turning into witches, been evil eyeing consistently, purposely, and intentionally, regardless of what you admire about them in the past. God said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Some of those people will not have a chance in this lifetime. And that is honest to God truth. They will not have it in this lifetime to heal, to follow a purpose, because they're too far gone. This list is for you and you only. To look at them as, when you look at the karmics, to look at them as they are still human beings. The only difference is, okay, is that there is a demon or demons taking control. And this should make you look at the karmics as a lost 3-year-old child. In the humanized immaturity, right? Because a lot of our karmics are very immature. Why? Because in the book of life it says it is time to put away childish things and become into a man. For some of us, we have karmic adult children. This could be anybody karmic. Even when we were in karmatic ways, our ego and pride may not have looked of immaturity to us, but it damn sure was. It was. But now that we're healing and becoming into our true divine being, into our true divine maturity, we now are recognizing that these karmics in our life were truly there to give us a lesson. And you know what I noticed as I wrote down my list? That all of the karmics, everything that I did admire about them, everything that they did do for me and that I saw was good, was all tangible. It was nothing about the inner. Neither one did I put down had a good heart. Anyone. And I guarantee, because we know what a good heart means. I'm not talking about they had a good heart because they took you into your home and then the next minute they took you out, or they took you into their home and they took care of you at one point in time, or whatever it may be. No. Yes, that signifies being a beautiful caretaker. That signifies being generous. But does that signify a good heart? No. Signifying a good heart is being compassionate to your needs. Being compassionate while giving you tangible things. And not giving you tangible things. Being compassionate and loving when you're down. Not needing anything in return is what I'm talking about. But every person on my list, and I know that when you make the list, it will be the same for you. They always wanted something in return, and that, my friend, is immaturity. That is not being mature. See, a mature heart chakra that is activated will show compassion to a person without them needing to give anything back. Period. But this is to also, like I said, be aware of that, and also be aware that when we look at a karmic, and the karmics throughout the world, even karmic strangers, karmic co-workers, whatever it may be, that we will look at them and see the 3-year-old child, the innocence that has been taken over by their demonic ways, by the matrix stuck ways. That, my friend, is what and who we are truly fighting. Their spiritually dead, selfish zombie way. Self. That is who we fighting. Self. Karmics are all about self. Okay? And think about it. Ain't that what we fight in ourselves? And isn't that what we're healing? Right? Our own devil within ourselves. I remember my prophetic dreams that I had a while ago. And as I studied and I looked up the dream interpretation, the source in the universe gave to me, I must fight the devil within myself before I could fight other demons. I didn't understand that at that time. But I tell you, it was humbling. It was humbling because so much we could get caught up in ourselves. When we talk about the karmics, I've been there. Guys, I just learned this, okay? Talking about, oh, they're this, and oh, they're that, and oh, they did this, and oh, they did that. That's so bad that it comes into our conversations with others in our household. Why, collective, are we letting that energy in? No, we don't need to gossip about. We already gossip or talk about. We don't need to talk about what they already did and what they doing. Now, the only thing that we need to focus on is what God is doing in our lives. How God is causing their tower moments while he's protecting us, and that we do not need to worry anymore because we cut them out of our lives. But what we can do is be aware of why they are the way they are and continue to pray and show light, love, and positivity and cut it there and cut it short. Why, collective? We are no better than them and they are no better than us, because these are the people that we have chose to be with. We have chose to be around at one point in time. We have chose to be in our energy at one point in time. Whether it's family, friends, I don't care who. We chose for them to be in our energy. Remember that. Namaste.